Susan Ivy.
I'm Harley Quinn.
And I'm Aaron Fox.
And this is a comic book look.
Evildoers of the world, be warned. It's a comic book look.
Arr, welcome to a very spooky edition of a comic book look. Arr, your weekly TV show on comic books and anything relating to comics. Arr, we're coming live from Sioux Falls, South Dakota to deliver you a very spooky and scary episode. Oh, come on, boys. You guys ready to rock tonight?
We're totally ready to rock.
It's not so scary, bro.
In fact, you're a very Midwestern pirate the way you stripped that. Oh, I don't know if they had that sort of swagger back then, but good call.
They had that swagger, because I would have had it.
Arr.
Arr.
Yeah.
All right, yes. Thank you guys for tuning in, though. We are going to... It's Halloween. We love Halloween around here. We had a sweet episode last year, so check it out. Me and John were rocking it as Cactus Man and Robin.
Classic costumes.
Totally. It was awesome. And so, yeah, check that out. But we're back again to celebrate this awesome holiday with... we're just going to go through Halloween books. You know, a lot of the publishers put out different things for Halloween. There's a lot of horror books, and we're going to keep it genre-related and rock out some different books. You know what I'm saying, boys?
We got a ton of variety, too. Holy smokes, what a great holiday
Totally.
for the comic book industry. Absolutely.
So how are you looking over there, Venom? It looks like your face has gotten a little different.
Gosh. You know, and it's, you guys, beauty is on the inside sometimes, but mine just happened to decide to come out this evening. So, you know, what was it, the Duke of Darkness or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely the Duke of Darkness.
Exactly. Everyone, you know, the one thing that I was wondering, well, you know, which Venom do you want to be? You know, Eddie Brock? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be Mac, because I'd rather be on Norman's team.
Of course you would be, dirty boy. Nobody likes Norman Osborn, but somehow John does. Okay.
I think I have kind of a villain crush on him.
Yeah, you totally do. But you know, it's perfect for Halloween. It's a thing of villains. So yes. And John is a huge fan of also The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is totally a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
this is my time of year. This is my Christmas, you guys.
Exactly. I agree.
I think it was just a good ploy to get in a Christmas and Halloween movie. Smash it all into one. You got two holidays.
Oh, bang.
And an awesome movie.
Wow.
It's a great movie.
Can't argue.
But yes, indeed, boys. So what should we talk about first? You got anything in particular?
Oh, you know, I brought in, we'll go a little bit old school, if I can find it here. Halloween Special 2010, All New Tales of Terror from the DC Universe. Just some quick little one-shot stories, you know, some of them, same story as always, some of them are good, some of them aren't. It's definitely worth a shot, it's a lot of fun around Halloween time, especially this opening story. These kids are playing Batman, and they've got...
The art looks sick.
They've got the Scarecrow tied up, and, you know, they're torturing him with their toxins, their nightmare spray, and turns out it actually is Scarecrow. He's actually being tortured, and Batman has to save him and bring him back to Arkham, and Scarecrow actually thanks Batman in the end.
Because it's such torture to be around those little kids.
Yeah, and I gotta show a bit of this art, too. The art is just really cool. It was really the first thing that caught my eye about this. Really drew me into the story. Yeah,
totally. It almost looks like it's done with a red pen and a blue pen and a pencil, and they put it all together. But yeah, right off the bat, you get a really cool story. After there, it kind of falls a little flat almost because, like with these anthologies,
lost interest.
Yeah, with these anthologies, I mean, you're not. I mean, we've said it before. Not all the stories are going to be good, and Skyler's totally right. I mean, not all these stories were good at all. That story was pretty good, but even that one was a little outlandish too. Like, I mean, these like 2 kids got Scarecrow tied up somehow. I don't know, but
He wouldn't go down like that. It's too awesome.
My big gripe with it is this one. It played into 2009 special here as well, and you get the editor's note. See Halloween special 2009. Thanks. I love that when I'm reading comics.
Right. You know, just to jump off that a little bit, I actually, honestly, guys, didn't have a chance to read the 2010 one, although that is my book. But I did have a chance to read the 2009 special, as it turns out. Wait, no, 2008, I lied. Sorry.
God, you're a liar.
Such a liar.
Well,
We
then
could have filled in those gaps.
I know, right? We could have answered all the questions, you know. No, the one thing I really liked about this one, though, was ironically the Scarecrow part of it, because they portrayed Scarecrow in, like, this Sleepy Hollow scene, which we totally just went off on that issue, you know, last week on the great debate. But this is a really cool portrayal of it, and it was actually kind of a Batman-esque twist on the Sleepy Hollow character, you know. And
yeah.
So very interesting. All in all, it's fun to see the characters, but, you know, I'm kind of with Skyler on this. Even with, like, the Marvel one that we read, or the overview coming out, kind of the same feel, you know, just kind of it's a fun seasonal tale, and so I'm going to give it that for what it is. But if I was picking this up casually, like, on a weekly basis, or monthly basis, I don't know if I'd stick with it necessarily, but you know, for this time of the year, I appreciate the fact that they're doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
know?
that I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Yes, some of the stories suck, but
It's
at least
fun.
they're putting
It's
out a
totally
Halloween
fun.
issue, which they didn't do this year and they didn't do last year.
Agreed.
And so it is too bad that they're not doing that
Tightening
anymore.
the old belts, it seems, yeah?
I feel like, you know, if there was a creator out there just like dying to do Halloween stories, they'd have a lot better, you know, chance.
Yeah.
But there's probably not.
Yeah.
And I think I do think that this format serves us pretty well. Though the multiple smaller stories for a holiday
And
special.
it gives creators a chance to shine.
Yeah,
There's tons of
you
names.
can have a lot more fun with it, and
Yeah.
it's more fun for us to read because you're not gonna, you
Same
know,
old stuff.
you don't want to read a full issue,
Yeah.
just one issue that's a one shot
Yeah.
Halloween story. That's probably not gonna end up so well.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
I agree. Yeah, no, and I like jumping around. Anthologies are fun, and it's a lot of comic. That's for sure. There's lots in there. So yeah, thank you, John, for bringing those in and letting us read them. Because
Just doing some research, guys.
John is like providing almost all these comics. John, Halloween, like he said, Halloween is his Christmas, and he did not, you know,
I
come
wasn't
ill
slacking on the
prepared for this.
packing. That's right.
Exactly, he
Yeah.
was very prepared. So, yeah. What
John
do you guys?
came in with a pack mule full of comics?
Exactly.
Do you think it's? I mean, do you think it sucks that they don't have them this year?
I'd say so. The Halloween stuff that did come out this year, we'll get to later, I was excited about. I just wish that we would have heard more from more of the prominent people, but this kind of just goes to show a little bit that, you know, the state that we're in, it seems like Indy is like, yeah, we'll give them what they want, let's have fun with it, whereas the big two are like, is it really, you know, economically, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It is what it is. So, yeah.
But yeah, no, it is too bad they don't make them anymore. It just didn't fit in with their new 52 lineup apparently.
Evidently.
And I'm sure it wasn't selling extra stellar, and that always drives everything.
Just didn't fit into the algorithm.
That's all part of the plan.
All right. Well, what next should we talk about, boys?
You want to hack through these really quick, Tom?
Sure.
And by really quick, guys, this is going to be super quick. This is I Feel Sick. It's literally on the cover. It says it's a book about a girl. That's exactly what it is. You guys, if there's one thing that's really challenging for me, I had a hard time with Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, that novel. I actually couldn't finish it. You think that I would love it because I always root for the bad guys, but with this series, I couldn't really get into it so much because it's so pushing the ticket. It's so abstract. It's, you know, kind of gothic and art. It's neat, and you would think that I would like it, but it's just the dialogue that just kills it for me because it's taking us in circles. It's going nowhere. It's angry. The sole part of this is actually the painting of the doll, slightly pictured on here, but the painting's actually a lot cooler looking. She called the painting Sickness, and the painting ends up talking to her towards the end. But I like the artwork part of it, but other than that, that's about all I have to say. I didn't even read the second issue. It's fun. It's witty. That's about all I got, though. Tom, pretty much, I don't know, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't like it. That's not my thing. It's totally in the same thing as Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, where it's just like they're three. I mean, the story shouldn't last more than 3 pages, even, and it just goes on and on. And that art was really like cartoony, gothic, and that's just definitely not my thing. But hey, man, it's out there. We gave it a shot because that's what we do. But no, I thought it was terrible. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh shoot, guys, we're slacking here. Back up. Halloween special beer ratings.
Okay, beer ratings on the Halloween specials. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 or 4 out of 6 for
what
good
pack
effort.
What are you drinking? Jeez.
Yeah, sorry.
Jeez Louise.
How about you guys? I got 4.
I only read through the 2010. I'm gonna have to give it 4 out of 6 because the first story was so good and it kind of made up for the fact that I lost interest every story I read after that more and more until I think 2 stories short I just closed the book and called it a day. So
it's a long book.
I'll give it a 5 just because I do appreciate this time of the year a lot, and I love the fact that DC's willing to dip the foot into the pool of blood and give the fans what they want. So totally. And then of course for this the one we just talked about, I Feel Sick. Totally a 1 out of 6, dude. I'm surprised that we even sharing beers at all with this book, but.
Yeah, that's a 0 out of 6 for me. Just not my thing. Couldn't even get past 4 pages.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, let's pick up that next one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. We got IDW, you guys. It's a fine and private place. This is just kind of an interesting book. It talks about death. A gentleman lives pretty much in the graveyard and can talk to ghosts. There's a bird that he also talks to that brings him items. I believe such as food, if I recall correctly. It's been a while since I've read it. Just an interesting take on death, though. It's kind of an oddly a peaceful book. And you know me, I'm all about explosions and excitement and stuff, but this is really fascinating to me. I actually did enjoy it for what it was. So.
Yeah, I read it as well. It's based on Peter S. Beagle's novel.
Okay.
And then this is going to be serialized into this comic book. And I've never read the novel or anything. And John got it and he put it in the stack. So I was like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I'll read it. Yeah. It's not like Halloween-y, but it really does. It has a somber feel, like an eerie tone almost through the whole thing. It really does. It's revolves right around death, but there's these odd things that are going on. No, but yeah,
I thought it was interesting.
I thought it was cool, and I like that there's a different kind of book out there, and I always like that they're adapting novels. Let's just get as many comics as we can. So you want to adapt some novels, go for it. Let's get some other readers into comics.
Totally, absolutely. 4 out of 6 on that.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 6 as well.
Yeah. All right. I think we should jump right back to the Halloween books, the holiday specials. This is
this year's. So I lied. Okay.
Marvel's Halloween Zombies.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty fun book. I wasn't terribly impressed with it, but it's kind of fun to have a different Halloween book. One thing I thought that was interesting that you don't see in a lot of dystopian future or apocalyptic type movies more so than books is you see the food gathering. They have a greenhouse at the back of the house where they're and it's protected by landmines so the zombies can't come near. And that's something you don't see a lot of, especially movies. Books you tend to cover it because you get a little deeper into the story, and that's that's number one on people's mind when you're in that kind of situation. So.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's cool that even though DC dropped the ball and they didn't give us,
forgot about this one for Marvel.
They didn't give us a special. At least Marvel did.
Yeah.
I even reviewed this book for the IMJ Capsule Reviews.
Nice. Okay.
Check that out every Sunday night. Capsule Reviews on Inveterate Media Junkies. New reviews for comics. And I did this one, and I can just kind of recap what I said there was, I thought after thinking about the plot's actually pretty good. It talks about, it's kind of Kitty Pryde. It's and her baby trying to get through this apocalyptic day and try to still celebrate Halloween. And Mephisto's there still trying to get human souls when there's so few human souls. Mm-hmm. So like that, I mean, those are all really kind of good plot points and, different things that go on. But it just didn't have that spark. It wasn't like an amazing book. Right. There was nothing bad about it. I can say nobody died, which is very odd for a zombie book. Yeah. But, I mean, Kirkman and Sean Phillips started Marvel Zombies. And it started like as a joke because you talk about Marvel zombies like John. Check John on issue 1. He was a Marvel zombie, and he's broken away. We found the cure called indie comic books,
Good.
But with this, it didn't have that fun about it. It really did take itself seriously, and and the art was just serviceable. And so
Yeah.
But I'll give it 2.5 beers.
Yeah. It's for me, it made Halloween accessible through a medium that I'm more familiar with because obviously I know my Marvel stuff pretty well. But just kind of fun to see the random characters that they made into zombies.
Yeah.
Overall, kind of a blah thing. Of course, I'm all about continuity. This is the first Marvel zombie thing I've ever read, actually.
Oh, really?
Honest with you, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I know it's not their strong point. I hear there's some
I should
phenomenal
borrow
ones.
you that book tonight then, because it's really good. The first trade is awesome.
Yeah, I'll rock it.
Sure.
So I'd give it a 3 out of 6. I'm right with you.
Heck yeah. But yeah, and I do like that it says Halloween on the cover. That always makes me happy.
Yeah.
I'd have to give it a 3 out of 6 as well.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was what it was,
Yeah.
Yep. It was what it was, but you know what? That is not like that kind of sucks though. I keep on looking over here, and I think that Jon is about to just chomp Skyler.
That's such a passive aggressive way to do it too.
Yeah, but
Such a
it's your character's ski, bruh.
Graph.
Just whatever, man. It was alright.
Let's talk about Zombie Chuck.
Okay.
Zombie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
You're getting ready for Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Let's go Ghost it.
Let's ghost it. All right. Well, guys.
Ghosty.
Ghost issue number 0. I don't know if we actually talked about this or not. I threw it in the stack because it's called Ghost. Nothing really happened in this, and surprisingly, these good things come in twos, evidently, because we read issue 0 and we really didn't have much of a reaction at all. Tom, there's a secret for you here. To read this, you actually just have to read this because both of them are incredible setup issues where nothing really happens, and there's really nothing that wants me to pick up. The covers are kind of neat,
Yeah,
some of the artwork in the book is cool, but as a series, I'm just kind of like, oh, Dark Horse. So this is getting. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 6. I'm not feeling too kind towards these ones.
1 out of 6. Damn.
I would kind of expect nothing to happen in an issue numbered 0.
Oh.
Which would piss me off, because if I'm going to go there, I don't
Yeah.
usually pick up things as they come out, so I'd go back and pick it up later.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with 1.
Yeah.
Well, where did all this information come from?
Right. But then again, all zeros seem to be dropping the ball.
That's how
My
0
opinion.
issues are. Zeros are supposed to be the very start, the very beginning.
DC
Nothing's supposed to happen, and well, it's terrible. DC 0 issues was just all over the board. But I read the first issue of Ghost, and it was just all set up. I haven't read the second one at all. Jon just got that one.
Yeah.
And, it was nothing impressive, nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
But I do like Phil Noto. That art's pretty good. And apparently Ghost is a character from, the 90s or something, and they're trying to, bring it back. But whatever. Not my bag. I'll give it 2. The 0 issue, 2 beers.
Yeah.
All right. Zombie Chuck?
Do it.
Intro.
Okay. Zombie Chuck, just the most ridiculous book ever. I don't know where Jon got these.
Oh, this is actually from a creator I met down at Lawrence, Kansas.
So nice. Met it at a con, indie creator, straight from the man.
Yeah.
It is definitely just a stupid book that is just so lighthearted and silly. There's one-eyed bats flying around. Everything's so cute, and then the main character turns into a zombie, and so does his girlfriend, and it's just, that's Zombie Chuck. That's the main character, and it is just silly. But you can read them in short.
Yeah.
There's definitely nothing else like that out there, and so that's really cool.
Yeah, it's totally kid friendly, and I mean it's definitely written for kids, for a younger audience.
Mm-hmm.
But you can kind of have fun with it too, anyway. So.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's about all I have to say on it, too. It's just a fun read, you guys. Harmless, seasonal fun. I thought I'd throw it in there for a zombie, something that was a little less serious and bloody.
And it says Halloween on the cover of this one.
That's nice. So, well,
Total Halloween book.
I'd give this a 4 out of 6, though.
Yeah,
I think
totally.
I'd give it a 5 out of 6, just because
Fun.
it's just a lighthearted fun, especially for kids.
Yeah.
So.
I'd give it a 4 out of 6 as well. I'm a 4 out of 6 kind of guy tonight, it seems.
I don't know.
All right, let's talk about Halloween Eve.
Oh, word. Yeah, I was like, okay. We're going to talk about that for.
Oh, okay.
This one, Image's latest crop for the season, I suppose. Halloween Eve, I actually left this at Tom's, and then we were looking at the pile tonight, and I was like, I never actually read this, because I ran out of time, and so I actually really liked it. Tom gave me a word of warning that maybe I wouldn't, but you guys, it's fun and it's imaginative and it has all the things that I look for in a book. You got costumes, you got pumpkins, you got wit, charm, and all this good stuff all in one. It's a fun issue. Image really delivered on this one. I think I present to you. This would probably be a 6 out of 6 right here.
Woo-hoo!
For me. Just I really did like it. That's something I could sit down to. Just it's so all over the board and it's fun.
Yeah.
Is all I got. But that's perfect for this time of the year. I really liked it.
Sure. I mean, I liked it as, all right. The art is really well. I really love the art. But I just had some issues with it was just a little too all over the board. I wasn't really catching her motives at all. And, does she only work at a Halloween store? What is this place that she's, complaining about working, but she didn't think she might not have to dress up, or she always works here or something because she knows her coworkers? I didn't really understand some different things. Yeah. The art was really pretty, so yeah, I'd give it a 2 beers out of 6 because I just didn't really jive with me. Yeah. I love Halloween though, and so I love that it came out. I love that there was a Halloween book, and I just got to give it up to these guys for putting it out there. But I'm gonna still give the honest opinion, and I take chances. I love Image Comics, and maybe they had some different ideas to do with these different characters, and they just put it into this book. I don't know. But I just didn't feel like it was totally fleshed out, or I didn't really understand the motives of the people for her hooking up with that guy at the end at all, and different things like that. I just didn't really understand it. But yeah,
Looks like this one, you got this one signed. Maybe picked it up at a con as well?
Oh, no, that's just the way it is.
Oh.
Yeah, I wish.
Oh, okay, it looked silver in the light. It looked like it was signed in the silver.
I wish I did, though. That's
my bad.
No worries. You want to talk us
Dude, you still tripping, brah? From the ski mushrooms?
Dude, I'm just tired from the slopes, man. Fresh powder. Should have seen it this morning, man.
Hitting the pow all day, man. I've been hunting varmints. What do pirates do? I've been stealing gold and following pirate treasure maps. I think
they do.
My pirate crew just mostly follows pirate maps.
Oh,
okay. You're just a treasure hunter.
Yeah, we're just mostly treasure hunters. Yar. You can tell by my mustache that I'm just basically a treasure hunter. But anyway, let's talk about the book that kind of all blew us away as being really good.
Yeah.
It's Transfusion.
Uno.
Vampires versus robots.
So I just want to stop you guys right there.
Yep.
Because
think about that.
Done.
But first of all, I hear that. Last book I read in the stack from John. I go,
really?
Vampires versus robots. Okay, fuck that.
Yeah.
Not gonna read this. Don't give me another goddamn vampire book. By all means, Steve Niles, 30 Days a Night. We know you can do vampires, but I was just like, no, this is gonna be stupid. And then I read it, and did not think that at all. Thought it was very good.
Yeah, another dystopian future feel to it. The robots are out for blood because it's the only way to power their systems and lubricate their joints.
That's such a creepy concept, too.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And so the art is just incredible.
I love the art.
On it.
Who thought Red could play such a powerful role on it?
Yeah,
I really thought that was great.
It's really, totally
simplistic but detailed.
And it's very different. It's very.
I like it.
Steve Niles works with these odd artists like him and Ben Templesmith, and this guy's name is like Minton 3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very eerie and artistic. But it's really fun to see in a comic book, and it really works for this concept.
Definitely.
What the story is like a group of people trying to make it in this world, and they find corn, a field of corn.
Once again, one of those kind of rare things we see. They're seeking out food.
Yep, and they they need this corn, or they're going to get corn, and it ends up being like a trap, and the robots come, and everybody's destroyed, and then you find out later how vampires involved, and it really throws you for a really good twist, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming at all, and just how eerie where they talk about the robots, and this really good scene that's just, you can tell is hand painted, then it has ink on top of the hand painting, and you can still see the brush strokes.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So I don't know.
I've only seen a couple of books that have this kind of like melding of styles, kind of. And one of them, it was an oil painting. It was all painted oil in it. But
yeah, I've seen that book that you have.
Yeah.
That was a crazy, great art book.
Just insane art. And we get to see some really cool scenes too. Like there's one after the robot has pulled a guy apart. He's just dumping the blood across his, joints to lube him up.
Oh yeah.
It's just really creepy. And cool.
The one thing I liked about this too is the use of spacing and text, because we don't always have those dumb yellow boxes everywhere. But there are a few white ones, but sometimes it'll be in between the panels and give it more of an industrial feel to it. So I really did like the setup of the book. I thought it was smart, and I thought it matched the artwork really well.
Totally.
Ratings.
I will give that sucker a 5 out of 6.
I'm gonna have to go the full 6-pack because I read the title Transfusion: Vampires versus Robots. Excuse me. By the time the vampires showed up, I forgot that there was vampires involved because I was so involved in the story. So I have to give it the full 6-pack.
I'm gonna go 6-Aroni as well. It was a sexy book. Definitely something I'd go on a hot date with every day of the week. So keep them coming. Creators that made this, and you're watching our show, obviously. I'll give you my phone number. Just hit me up on Twitter.
Yeah, dude. Steve Niles is the man, though. He does have some really cool things. My favorite thing that he does is Criminal Macabre. It's this awesome detective story with this monster, and it's all... He just loves supernatural and really gothic, horror, scary kind of things, and he does it really well. So thank you again, Steve Niles, for proving me wrong and letting me know that there is still a vampire story out there that I do want to read. So
can I talk one really quick?
Yeah.
We tackled the Image gift, and I did get the Grimm Fairy Tale Xenoscope, and I know Tom's like, oh lord. After the great debate last week, we learned that Xenoscope isn't preferred on all radars. I did, however, I'm kind of with Tom on this. This is a fun read, but that's about it. And when you have this badass cover on the front of the Scarecrow, I'm kind of expecting a little bit more. The girls go to a cornfield and tell stories, which is fun. And then at the end, spoiler alert, like anyone, if you're not all over this already, you're probably not going to see it.
And let's just be real. If you have watched one of our shows before, we're terrible at spoiler alert. So, exactly. And we give no warnings. Really.
But obviously, the Scarecrow at the end comes alive, and it's rather gruesome how the 2 out of the 3 meet their doom, and the third one's sent on her way, running away for next year's offering. So all in all, it's fun. I'd give it a 4 out of 6.
Really?
Just for Halloween charm. But
okay.
That's about it.
I didn't read it.
It's just a series of short stories, just with the Grimm Fairy Tale spin on it.
So, I mean, and maybe I'm prejudiced, John. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be that way. I've read probably 5 Grimm Fairy Tales books, all of which I just thought were just, like, piss poor. Yeah. And so that's why I just kind of,
it does, compared to, like, Fables. I mean, I'm totally with you on that. Mm-hmm. So,
but yeah. I think you should talk about that other vampire book.
These?
Yeah.
Well, once in a while, you guys, I feel a little risky and decide I want to check out one, except I want to check out all 4 that are on the shelf at the same time. Image also put out this awesome book called A Revival. These are actually, kind of variant covers. And it's just an interesting tale about people that, in this local town, people are coming back to life, and you see different takes on it. Some are angry about it. Old woman's prying her teeth out, and they keep growing back in. She keeps ripping them out. And they seem to be losing their mind. Keep in mind, I'm only 4 issues in. So there's a lot of murder that goes on with people around them in their lives. There's a Zorse in issue 1. It's a zebra horse that dies, which I was really depressed about, actually. And evidently...
Animal lover and John got him.
I know. John got attached to the Zorse in one issue.
I mean, how sweet is that name, you guys, Zorse? I was like, that's amazing. All in all, though, artwork is spot on. It's fun. It has its charm. I thought it fit right in, though, to Halloween because it's got a little bit of a demon factor in it. You meet that more towards issue 4. But all in all, a fun read. Totally. Image is definitely rocking my socks on this fine eve.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet, but I do think it's really cool. These books have been coming out for a while, but they sold well. They all sold out. So today they put out issues 1 through 4 in
awesome.
second printings and with all these new covers, and then they are just lined up so perfectly. And I looked at it, I was like, I'm not going to buy the vampire story. Yeah. But, it's written by Tim Seeley and Mike Norton. I mean, Mike Norton, Battle Pug. I love Mike Norton. Nice. He's the man. Tim Seeley, Hack Slash. He created Hack Slash. I mean, these guys are awesome creators, and it's cool to see that they have this, new book from Image that must be doing okay if, it's getting some second printings. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, all in all, I definitely liked it. I'd give it a 5 out of 6.
Good, right now. I haven't read it yet, but I do want to.
Shout out to the Zorse. Boom.
Sure. Awesome.
I'll just brace this one really quick. I don't know. Do you have a chance to read it?
No, I did not.
Okay. The Last Zombie. This is from AP Entertainment. Brian Keene. I honestly, it was fun. And that's about it. Because I'm biased. I'm rocking Walking Dead right now. Finally getting my hands into that a bit. So this was cool. I'm probably not going to stick with it because I don't even remember that much about it. I only read it a week ago.
Yeah.
I've been reading it a lot since then, as you can see, but I don't know. That'll be a 2 out of 6 for me. I won't stay with it, though. Honestly. Yeah.
I didn't read it. It just didn't have the appeal for me. I don't know. Just the whole setup, I didn't really like the cover. Yeah. Having it be called The Last Zombie and have zombies be so big, I feel it's just like trying to cash in. When you're comics press that is not like big and doesn't sell a lot of things, I feel like you really got to do something different. Mm-hmm. So when you're doing the same thing, I feel like you're not going to do it as well, and it's that's kind of what put me away. But let's finish it up with these. Did you get to read any of these, John?
I read a little bit of one of these, and then there was a freebie that came out a couple weeks ago that I rocked that, and that's what inspired me to get these. I asked Brian and John, I'm like, well, what's the scoop with these? And they told me a little bit about EC Comics, and it was just fun. It's a different art of storytelling with this. There are different storytellers that do it, but how it's done is just so fun. Like, I used to be scared of Tales from the Crypt on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of the storytellers, and here's the Crypt Master, of course. Or Crypt Keeper, excuse me. But what the story with EC, I guess I'm a bit mixed about. That's back when comics were kind of outlawed for a little bit because of bad content or something.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
like they started this up as a in-your-face, like it's not really a comic company. It's just they're going to tell scary stories in it.
Yeah, I mean, comics took off in 1939. By 1942, comics are huge. Yeah. So by 1949, 1950, these comics from the publisher EC Comics, they start doing these comics that are really supposed to be like cutting edge, scary, gross, demented, and I mean they're really. It's like they talk about like puking, and that's what or something like that you would not even think twice about, like seeing on YouTube every single day. Right. It's so outlandish. But because of these books, these are books that Dr. Wortham, the terrible, terrible doctor that wrote the report and had it presented to Congress about how bad comics are, and had to have the comics code on comics, got rid of all this kind of stuff, and this is the original EC Comics from the 50s that are reprinted before they have had that. So after this guy, Dr. Wortham, he writes his terrible report, all these publishers go bankrupt and end, and these comic writers are out of work because they can't write comics anymore because nobody buys comics. People are burning comics like crazy, and that's also tends to be why the comics that take place before that time are worth tons of money. I mean, if John had original EC Comics from 1951, they would be we wouldn't be going like this with them. These are the reprints, and it's just so cool that they did the reprints. Yeah. But I mean, if you hear this and you go in and you're like, oh, I'm going to jump right in those, I'm going to read those just like I read Spider-Man. These are comics from 1950s. Yeah. Everything is explained to you. Yeah. There's a bajillion words on every single page. Yeah. They tell more of a story in one page than like our comics ever tell. Yeah. I mean, like
I agree with that.
One page, a guy can like be born, get grow up, become rich, die, go to hell, and that's like in one page.
Yeah.
You know, because they're just like so, you know,
essays and not as much pictures.
Such compressed stories.
Yeah.
Which is just so kind of fun. But what I tend to do is once I kind of get into the story, I leave I never read the thought bubbles. I never read the breakdown paragraphs. What they have, I just read the word balloons, and I can totally understand the story. I don't need, because usually it's like the guy and the girl are looking right at each other and they feel terrible. She is smiling, and then the word bubble will be like, "I am smiling," and then he will be like, "Isn't this terribly eerie?" You know, it's so it's totally from the 1950s, and
That's
it's
awesome.
But I love it. I love that how throwback it is, and I'm so glad you brought these over. I had more fun with these than any of the other books, even Transfusion. They really knocked me out of the park and bring me back to it. Like I just picture like somebody living in 1950, and he's like 11 years old, and he's got his hand on these. And he's like, "Did you see this? This guy had to run away because he was puking everywhere." But it is drawn in this kind of cool style with heavy inks, and that's my EC Comics rant. Loved it.
Nice.
But yeah, so I would give all of these 5 or 6 out of 6 beers. I only read 2, John. The 2 that John left me, and very awesome. I reread the one a couple times just like because I thought there were some parts that were just so funny, and I mean it's just like how there's this one where this like guy comes back. He meets his family and he has a college degree, and there's vampires in town, and his whole family's like, "Just stop talking about vampires, okay? He has a college degree. He doesn't need to know about vampires, okay? Can't we just not talk about him for one day?" And then like he's like, "Just because I have a college degree doesn't mean I can't do hard work. I'm gonna sacrifice my life to save my family." And he like, for some fake scientific way, puts his like radioactiveness in his blood, has the vampire suck on him, gives his brother some sort of radioactive reader where if he hears the ticking, he knows that it's the vampire's home nest. His brother goes and then stabs the vampire in the heart, and it says, "This is for my brother." But then his brother is still alive in the end. I mean, it was just so silly. But yeah, definitely. If you get a chance, it is fun. It's definitely blast from the past.
Definitely. So, as you can see from our mountain of material here, ladies and gentlemen, Halloween is timeless, it is fun, and it's interpreted differently through the eyes of all these various creators, indie to mainstream. So with that, we do anticipate next year's offerings and hope that more people come to play ball so that we can review.
Totally.
And
Yes,
enjoy
indeed.
them, of course.
For sure. Loved it. All right, well, close us down, John.
Where was I? Have a safe Halloween. Also, send us photos of your costumes. It's so fun to see people have fun with it. You don't need to go to a Comic-Con. Well, I mean, you kind of do. But this time of the year, you don't, because everywhere it's Comic-Con for the people that want to do it right. So, totally send us your costumes, this year's, last year's, whatever. We want to see it. We'll feature it on the next episode if you'd like. If not, you can tell us that too. We just want to see it. So, a comicbooklook@gmail.com. Hit us up. Send us love notes, death notes, whatever you want to do. Check us out on YouTube, of course, and obviously you're already doing that. Inveterate Media Junkies.com. We're part of the Mean Team Supreme. Salutes. Other than that,
That's it, brother.
John? Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the debate. Trust me, probably a few more of those to come. Yeah. Well, anyways, happy Halloween to you, and keep it comics.